Hello, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for tuning in once again. If you're new here, hit the subscribe button and turn on your post notifications so you get to know every single time I post a new video. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to cut a male's native wear, and this is also popularly known as male senator design. So to start with, I'm going to be cutting out the front first, the front block of the top. So now I'm going to measure the length, and I'm going to add just 1 inch to the length of the front. I'm adding 1 inch allowance to the front. Then I'm going to divide the bust by 4 and add 2 inches seam allowance to it. Then I'm going to, once you've measured the bust and divided it by 4, adding 2 inches seam allowance, just place your tape rule and mark out what you have there. I have about 14.5, so I'm going to be measuring 14.5 all the way from the top to the lower part. I'm going to mark it, then I'm going to cut it out. So we are going to be taking the measurement for the back part of the top. For this part, I'm going to be adding 4 inches to the length. I'm adding 4 inches to the length, and I'm going to go over it again. To the front length, the length of the front block, I added just 1 inch. Then for this back, I'm going to add 4 inches to the length. So let's assume you have, for your overall measurement, you have about 35 inches. So adding 4 to it will make it 39. Adding 1 to the back will make it 36. So I hope you understand what I'm saying. To the normal measurement, you add 1 for the front. Then for the back, you add 4 inches. So I'm going to cut it out. Then I'm going to do the same thing I did for the front, measuring the bust, dividing the bust measurement by 4, then adding 2 inches, then marking it all the way. So I'm going to do the same, and I'm going to cut it out. So guys, now I'm going to be placing the front right on top of the back block. I'm going to place it right on it like so. Then I'm going to make sure the front and back are equal at the top. So remember, the front is shorter than the back. So now at the upper part, I'm going to make it equal like so. So I hope you understand what I'm doing right here. I'm making the top equal. Then at the lower part, the back is longer than the front. So right from this point here, I'm going to measure 2 inches. I'm going to mark 2 inches for the shoulder slope. In case the person has this kind of very slopey shoulder, you're going to you should make it 2.5 inches. So but for this measurement, I'm going to be making use of 2 inches for my shoulder slope. All right, so now I'm going to slant it. As you can see, I'm slanting it all the way to the neck area. So once I've done that, I've cut it out. Now carefully pull it down to be equal at the lower part. Pull it down to be equal at the lower part. Make sure the lower part, the down part is very equal. Then this is how the upper part is going to look like. Now I'm going to fold it over and place it like so. Now this part that I'm placing on the shorter one, I'm placing it like in an overlapping way, like half inch. So it's resting on the front part, and it's like one half inch seam allowance that I'm leaving for that joining. So now I'm going to be taking the neck depth and the neck width. So firstly, be careful with what you are doing. I'm taking about 4.5 of an inch for the neck depth, then I'm going to take 2.5. So depending on the circumference of the neck of the person, make sure you always measure the neck circumference, so you don't end up cutting a very big neck or a very small and very narrow neckline for the person. So I measured the neck and I add 17 inches. So I measured 5 inches for the neck depth here, and 2.5. I always make use of 2.5 if the person neck is 17 and below. So if the person neck is from 18, I can make use of 2.75. So now I'm going to be confirming if this is up to 17 inches. So now it's going to be 17 divided by 2, that's 8.5. So I'm going to be measuring the neck circumference to make sure my measurement is correct. So I realized it's not up to 8.5, it's about 7.5 or so. So now to make this correction, I added I didn't touch the wideness of the neck. I added half inch, just half inch to the neck depth. I added just half inch, then I made it a bit wider, like so. So now I'm going to reconfirm if this neck circumference is up to 18, and I realized it was perfect. Up to 17 rather. So I realized it was perfect. It was not 8.5, it was 8 inches. So I left it like that because when after turning it round, I'm going to get 8.5. Alright. So now I'm going to be taking the shoulder measurement, and the shoulder measurement I have here is 11 inches. So at 10.5, I added half inch seam allowance to it. So this is 11 inches. Now I'm going to mark it. Like so. Now from that shoulder point, from this shoulder point right here, I'm going to be taking my armhole length, and I'm going to be using 10 inches here. So now this is 10 inches. I'm dividing it by 2 and marking 5. So this I'm going to rule it in now. Firstly, alright, so guys, from this point I'm coming in by about 7.5 about 0.75 of an inch. 0.75 of an inch. Then I'm going to connect it like so. Alright guys, I'm being careful with this part that keeps shifting from its position. So now I'm cutting it out, and if you observe very well, I'm cutting only the upper part. I didn't touch the lower part, so just be very, very careful when cutting that out. Alright, so this is exactly how your shirt should look like after cutting it out. Alright, so now guys, it's time to cut out the sleeve. Before that, I'm going to notch this part here, so I'm not going to be confused when sewing the fabrics together. Alright guys, it's now time to cut out the sleeve, and to get the wideness of the sleeve, I make use of my armhole measurement, which is 10 inches. So I'm just going to fold it into 4 and make sure it's up to 10 inches. So guys, this is not a standard sleeve pattern, okay, but this is very easy for me at this point, so I'm just going to be making use of this. I'm going to be posting a standard sleeve pattern here, and I'm going to post the link. All right, so now I'm taking the sleeve length, and mind you, this is a cufflinks sleeve. It's not just like a normal buba sleeve. So I'm going to add cufflinks. Cufflinks to the wrist. So now the sleeve length is 28. The sleeve length I have here is 28. So instead of, and my cufflinks length is 3 inches, I'm going to make use of 3 inches. So instead of minusing 3 inches from the sleeve length, I'm just going to measure 27 inches. I'm going to measure, so I mark 27 inches for the sleeve length. Okay, so now I'm marking out my armhole. Like I said earlier, this is not a standard sleeve pattern, okay, so I'm marking out my armhole, and I'm going to make sure my armhole is up to 13, because my armhole circumference I have on the cloth there is 13. So I'm making sure, or I'm going to make sure, this my armhole is not below 13. All right, so here I marked 10.5 inches. That's 10 inches for the armhole length, then half inch for seam allowance. Okay, so now I'm marking out the round sleeve measurements here. I'm going to add 1 inch for seam allowance all through. So when I get to the wrist area, remember this is a cufflink, so now it's going to have some kind of pleats at the wrist part. So for that pleat, I'm adding 1.5 inches seam allowance to the wrist measurement. So the normal wrist measurement is 8 inches, so if I add 1.5 plus 1 inch, that's 2.5. so 8 inches divided by 2 is 4. So if I add 2.5 to 4, that's 6.5 inches. So I marked 6.5 inches at the wrist area. I'm going to try my possible best to upload the video of the sewing part of this tutorial, okay, but before then I'm going to do a part 2 of this video, which is going to be the trouser, the cutting of the trouser. This the trouser is just going to be an elastic band trouser, so it's not the professional, will I say, it's not the regular trouser, it's the elastic trouser. Okay, so I'm going to upload that as a part 2. Then I'm going to try and upload the sewing part of this tutorial. So guys, this is it. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe, share and comment. Thank you.